pretty much puts a woman on a pedestal above him. Okay. And we always say that chivalry died because women killed it. You know, men used to go above and beyond. Men used to open doors. They used to buy flowers. They used to, ask your dad for your permission to date the daughter. But women saw all that as patriarchy. So now women wanted to be equal, and now they have it. So men aren't being chivalrous anymore. And I think this male allyship thing is trying to show a different form of chivalry at work. Women, you're equal to us now, and you have to fight in the world of men. Instead of men trying to prop you up, ladies, how about you look around at what the guys are doing? If you see the guys in your workplace being cutthroat and stepping on people's necks, you need to do it too. If the guys in the meeting are freaking over talking other guys and over talking you, well, you need to over talk people too. Okay? Because I will argue that with the whole M2 movement and this whole push to be equal, um, guys, don't be an ally to women. No, women are strong and independent. They can do it all themselves. And the odds are, guys, you have to do it all yourself too. Everyone has to do it by themselves now. And also, a general theme on my channel, guys, avoid women at work at all costs. Don't go to lunch with women. Don't mentor women. Just go into work, do your work, eat your lunch in your cubicle. Don't even go to the lunchroom. Eat in your cubicle, do your job, go home. No happy hours, none of that. Women created this environment, and I covered in other videos that men don't want to mentor women, male bosses. Also, in academia, male academics don't want to work with female academics either. Why would you put yourself at risk? And now you want men to become a female, you want a man to become an ally of women at work? No, guys, don't do it. It's not happening. And I've never seen an article written by a well, I know, no, I've seen a couple of articles written by a man about male allyship, but they're mostly, left leaning, some kind of PhD somewhere. We know what that's about. So I'm gonna get into this subject here, and let me know what you think in the chat, or if you're listening to this after the fact, what you think about being a male ally at work. Okay, because I think it's a bad idea, guys. We got to fend for ourselves. In fact, it's funny how this is a concept when you see headlines, because what about what about women being male allies? How about that? You know, a, a lot of men are suffering in today's society. In fact, so much that you see headlines like this. Micro warns that 7 million American men are done looking for work and have punched out. Remember this? Yeah, 7 million men out of the workplace. Yeah. Or you see articles like this. If women need so much help, why do we see articles like this one? Ooh, hold on. Uh, 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 uh. 16 US cities where women under 30 earn more than their male peers. Did you guys know that? There's 16 cities in the United States where women under 30 earn more than men. Wenatchee, Morgantown, West Virginia, Massachusetts, Gainesville, Florida, Yuba City, California, San Angelo, Texas. Oh, Lebanon, Pennsylvania. I lived there for a little bit. But we have to be allies to women at work. It's garbage. So let's get into allyship in itself. We're gonna watch this quick video here as to what allyship is, and it's like it's kind of cringy, but let's just rock with it so we can all be on the same page about what allyship is. Okay. So this video is about allyship. Let's see what they have to say about it.
You may have heard of allyship, but research shows that most of us don't really understand what allyship is. So let's start with the definition. Allyship is an active and consistent effort to use your privilege and power to support and advocate for people with less privilege.
So one of the things I hate about this concept is use your privilege and power to support and advocate for people with less privilege. I would argue, guys, only a small percentage of men have privilege at work. I hate this misconception that women have that all men are privileged at work, especially I'm a black male and I'm a protected class under the law too. But remember, guys, that's why I don't mind that affirmative action was shot down. All these diversity, equity, inclusion programs need to go because they do not include men, especially, hey, all my white straight male listeners, you should be glad that all this DEI stuff is going away because you might as well not exist to people, and it's sad. Okay, so only a small percentage of men have male privilege, but uh, even in the workplace, and to assume that all men have some kind of privilege is ludicrous.
Let's unpack that. Our society is set up in ways that prioritizes some groups over others. For example, a restaurant might be easy to navigate for a person without a disability, but much harder for someone who uses a wheelchair. These patterns show up in our workplaces too. Studies show that leaders are more likely to mentor people who remind them of themselves. And
And I have no problem with that, guys. I work for the. Um, uh, I found out in my career that a lot of military people like working with other military people. I didn't serve in the military, and if you're listening to this and you worked, you served in the military, thank you for your service because I didn't do it. And anyone that would do something I would never do, I give them the utmost respect. But yeah, a lot of military guys and women want to work with other military people. I have no problem with that. I didn't work in the military. If I got passed on for a job interview by a military person because I didn't have military service, I didn't mind. I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. So, I've met other people with master's degrees that preferred me over someone who didn't have a master's degree. Okay, like people have the right to have preferences even in hiring. I have no problem with it.
since most leaders are white men, that means it's often easier for white men to find mentors.
Allyship involves understanding inequities like these and taking concrete steps to help level the playing field. This is a key point. To show up as allies, we have to take action. Sometimes taking action feels tricky or even uncomfortable, but not acting can be more harmful than we realize. It can send a signal that we're not aware of the injustices around us, or that we think they're okay, or even that we don't care. So, if you're not sure what to do, ask yourself, is there an action I can take that is responsible, even if it's not perfect? If
So let me talk about that too. These actions need to be reciprocated. Women will not advocate for men at work under any circumstances. And if you've ever had a woman who wasn't your boss advocate for you at work, let me know. Because the only women who have advocated on my behalf have been my supervisors, and that's it. But I don't think I've ever had a woman advocate on my behalf. Not only that, but you can't have men advocate for you when you're calling them toxic and trash. You can't do it. No. Okay? You have to treat the person who's gonna advocate for you, uh, with respect, or they're not gonna advocate for you, and that's what's going on a lot right now. You have these awful toxic women in the workplace that they're thinking that you as a man should do something for them. No. No. Avoid them.
so, do that. Allyship isn't about getting any one action perfectly right. It's about acting consistently in ways that add up over time. This is another key point. Allyship is consistent. We might be moved to practice allyship toward a specific group when injustice is in the news, but to really make a difference, we need to commit to pushing for change over the long term. Now, let's look at the last piece of the definition. Allyship is about supporting and advocating for people with less privilege. That might mean speaking up when you see inequity, like pointing out that the women on your team are often interrupted in meetings. It could also mean working proactively to make things fairer.
Let me talk about this whole making things fair thing. One of the problems with the modern day and modern women is women think that things should be fair. And what does it mean when a woman says she wants things fair? I think when if men ever say fair, we truly mean like everything is equal opportunity. Fair to women means everything needs to be positive for me. So that's the problem with fairness. If it's not directly benefiting women and women only, too many women think that it's not fair. And part of fairness is a man giving up. Men always have to give up for things to be fair for women, and you can't be having us call you strong and independent and stuff. No, it, it's this big old oxymoron cluster f, guys. And once again, uh, I've said this on my channel before. Women have introduced these okay, women have introduced these concepts into the workplace that men never would have, i.e., women want things fair at the sexual marketplace and they want things fair at work. And it's just never going to happen. Men, we accept that life isn't fair right when boys start showing up to school and they're taller than you, they're faster than you on the playground, they can score more points in basketball, football. Life tells us stuff isn't fair, but women can live in this bubble. It's just like liking your job. Like, who says that you get to love your job? Women, oh yeah, I have to be happy at work. Who says that you get to be happy at work? No. You think the guys in the sewers, the guys on the roofs, the guys laying down tile and concrete are happy at their jobs? No, they're happy providing for their families, but women want to be happy at work at all times and happy in a relationship at all times. And it's impossible. Ash L, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. He says, in competition, there's no such thing as fair. I agree. Only the rules should be fair. Yep, I agree.
For example, you could research best practices for reducing bias in hiring and share what you learn with your team. As you're practicing allyship, it's important to stay focused on the people you're supporting and the impact you want to have.
Staying focused on impact isn't always easy. We sometimes end up focusing too much on how our actions make us look or feel. When this happens, we can slip into what's called a savior mentality. We might start pushing for solutions that sound right to us instead of listening to people with less privilege and following their lead. We can also end up practicing performative allyship, which means we're acting based on how we want to be perceived. For example, we might post on social media about the importance of supporting people of color, but not speak up when we hear racist comments in our daily lives.
That's the modern age. What do they call that? Twitter activism, social media activism. That's what it's all about right now. That's what it's all about.
On the other hand, some of the most powerful allyship actions are the ones almost no one sees, like privately recommending a colleague with a traditionally marginalized identity for a promotion. Allyship isn't always easy or straightforward, and you won't get it right all the time. But it's so important that you continue to try, because allyship really matters. By showing up as an ally, you can help people with traditionally marginalized identities feel included at work. Research also shows that
Now, the key word behind that is feel included at work. There's a lot of industries where F your feelings. Okay. And a lot of times, if you don't feel included, you haven't looked around to see what you can do to be included in the existing workplace. A lot of people in the modern day, particularly women, want to come into the workplace and have the excuse me, the workplace bend around them. It doesn't work that way. You need to look at the existing culture and see where you fit in. The workplace doesn't have to fit around you.
That allyship can have positive ripple effects. When employees see their colleagues acting as allies, they're more likely to step up too. This means that by practicing allyship, you can motivate others and shift your company's culture in a way that promotes equity. And when workplaces are more equitable, employees of all identities are happier and more committed to their jobs.
Okay. So let me know, guys. Let me know what you think about this whole allyship concept. Once again, only reason why I came across this was because I was researching content for my men and women in the workplace series, and once again, I've been seeing all this male ally. Where are all the male allies? Do you think you're a male ally? You know how to be a better male ally. You can take classes in college now, like community college, like non-credit classes about being a male ally at work. What a joke. So this article here is called 8 Ways You Can Be a Better Male Ally to the Women You Work With. And this is going to be one of my first examples as to why being a male ally is a bad idea and no man should be signing up for this. Because once again, guys, we all know that no one's coming to save us as men. And a lot of the majority of us, we don't get anything handed to us either. So you got to do your best to claw your way to the top of the corporate ladder or to claw the way to the top of your field while making concessions so women can to make the path for women easier. No. Why would you do this? And then not only that, as we're going through this, I want you to think about, is there a woman in your workplace who would reciprocate any of this for you as a man? No, never. So once again, 8 ways you can be a better male ally to the women you work with, how to foster diversity and inclusion one ally at a time. Our favorite words, guys, diversity and inclusion. It says when we think about gender equality or inequality at work, we often think about it from the perspective, experiences, and actions of women. But the reality is, women's issues are everyone's issues, and we all stand to benefit from the work we do to advance women at work. Not least of which is that female-friendly companies consistently outperform less diverse companies. And yet, when we asked our network of professional women at In Her Sight, that's what the website's called. I find these articles so you don't have to, guys. Um, excuse me. And yet, we asked our network of professional women at In Her Sight how many of feel they have. Oh God, see, that's the problem with these independent websites. How many of feel they have at least one male ally at work? Just 58% felt they have the support of the men in the office. Dreddy G, thank you for joining. He says, "Is anyone going to ask these pinheads how to define a woman?" I guarantee you, because this Kara Hutto, no man, she give you a roundabout answer in circles that's about 20 minutes long. Yeah, she wouldn't be able to do it. Um, as context, male allies are defined as men who associate with, cooperate with, and support women. Sociologist and gender studies expert Michael Kimmel says, "Ooh, sociologist and gender studies expert? Yikes! This is not the kind of guy I would want to hang out with. I bet you he drinks Bud Light." We cannot fully empower women and girls without also engaging men and boys. And when we do, we find out that gender equality is a good thing for men as well as women. Cultivating respectful and encouraging relationships between men and women improves workplace satisfaction, yields higher financial results, and heightens productivity. Male allies are critical in the changing workplace landscape. that makes sure that both men and women are equally respected. Being an ally means speaking up because when women succeed, we all succeed. Okay, how to be a male ally. Now let's go down this list. So, how can we all work together to achieve this goal? Here are some examples shaped from the in her site community of the ways men can be better allies to women in the workplace. You guys ready? Let's go. It means a lot when men in other departments speak to my direct supervisor regarding my quality of work and when they talk to me about promotions um, and growth within the company. It helps me to feel recognized and understand better ways to advocate my position. To feel recognized. You're going to see the word feel in a lot of these articles about men being allies. Men should have frank discussions with their male subordinates about appropriate conduct in the workplace. When did this article come out? Is there a date on here? Let me see. Oh, it didn't have a date because I wonder if this was written before or after the whole M2 thing. Anyway, if you see a direct report putting their hand on a woman's shoulder or being overly complimentary or affectionate, take them aside and let them know they shouldn't interact with women any differently than their male colleagues when it comes to touching and paying compliments. If you mess up, apologize. Most women don't expect anyone to be perfect, but it means a lot when you acknowledge a lapse in judgment. Also, question women, especially female leaders, when they say things you think might be sexist, such as I prefer to work with men. Don't just assume that because they're women, they can't contribute to a misogynistic workplace. The M word, gotta love it. Listen to this, guys. Men should actively promote women into positions of leadership at the highest levels. This kind of support trickles down as more women have the power to promote women. Men who supervise entry level women should actively advocate for better working conditions and wages as well as advancement opportunity. Guys, I've done multiple stories on my channel about how women hate working for other women, and a lot of what 80% of workplace bullying towards women comes from other women. So women want to advocate for female bosses, but they don't want to work for them. I think 50% of women surveyed in a study says that they'd rather work for a male boss than a female boss. So the ultimate plan is they want more female leaders and units full of men. And then the couple of units that have male bosses, women want to have that male boss. That's what it sounds like to me. It would make a difference if every man picked a female to mentor and ensure diversity on succession plans. So just leave all the men out. Leave all the men out. Men should ask themselves, am I man spreading my role? Guys, oh my God, these websites, man. Oh, am I man spreading my role, responsibilities, or decision phase? Pause for women to speak up in meetings and reinforce the behavior by agreeing or supporting the comments versus restating the idea as your own. When you head out to lunch or drinks with the men from work, add a female who may benefit from that network. Now, we all know not to do that, guys. Nope. You want to get an accusation against you after the fact? Don't do it, guys. Stay away from women at work. If their male associates are being inappropriate, men should openly defend the victims, make it a conversation. Make sure every employee is aware that sexual harassment happens often, is not tolerated, especially by upper management. Men should let other men know when what they are saying is inappropriate for what the work environment. I had coworkers back me up when sexist remarks were made towards me, and that really made it feel like a safe environment. Acknowledge our experiences. If a female coworker says he called me sweetheart and it made me uncomfortable, don't come back and with, oh, that's just Tom. Remember that you don't walk through this world like we do. 8, advocate for equal pay and pointing out when work being credited to them is work actually done by the female coworkers. Just treat women like you would want to be treated. This is by Kara Hutto. So they want you to do all this while you're busting your butt to move up the ladder. Ain't happening, guys. No way. Jetty G says, they have inclusive stuff at work, so I wrote down MPTDAAPIPOC on my cubicle whiteboard. Okay. Masculine presenting transgendered lesbian disabled Asian American Pacific Island person of God. That's hilarious. Uh, hey, what did you say that your pronouns were, Jetty G? That's a magical question. What were your pronouns? Mm-mm. So now, while you're doing all this, women can still perceive you as not being a real ally, as we see in this article here. It says, uh, sorry, 1 second here. Pull that off there. Okay, here we go. Men think they're strong workplace allies. Women disagree. So, we got a Michael Jackson fan. JG says his uh, pronouns are he, Shamon. Yes. Michael Jackson's like my favorite artist of all time, man. So good job with that one. So this article, men think they're strong workplace allies, women disagree. So even if you do everything that the last article said that you should do, you can still be perceived as not being allied enough, not being diversity and equity and inclusion enough, I guess. Men and women often disagree on how much support women receive from male colleagues. The differences hurt women's well-being at work. Headlines about workplace sexism regularly bring us men sharing social media posts and retweets with hashtags like hashtag gender equality. Yet many of the female colleagues read those posts and think, that guy an ally? Really? The skepticism may be deserved. I study allyship. Oh yeah, of course. Meg A. Warren. How do people get away with making money in these BS fields, man? You s- she studies allyship for a living? Is that a thing, really? The idea of someone from an advantaged group supporting the professional and personal well-being of someone who is typically marginalized in society, such as women or people of color. Despite and it's funny that it says such as women or people of color, but the men who are people of color should be in this group too. But it's funny how we are excluded from that. Despite widespread beliefs that gender bias is not really a problem, or that supporting women in their workspaces goes against men's own self-interest, because it does, more men are starting to express an interest in being allies. In recent research from my group, 76% or 1,342 of 1,751 participants said that they would want to be allies for underrepresented and marginalized people in their organization. But new research has questioned whether that interest is largely performative, mirroring the skepticism that women often express. Understanding whether men think of themselves as allies is important because allies are uniquely positioned to support equality. For instance, when males allies step up against sexism, the message that women are equal to men often gains more attention and is better received. Consequently, when male allies call out sexism, bystanders are more likely to speak up and support, blah, blah, blah. While researchers have hypothesized about men's beliefs and motives around allyship, I wondered, what if I directly asked men about whether they think they are allies to women in their workplaces? What I found is that women's skepticism has merit. In many cases, men believe they're better allies than their female coworkers do. Actions speak louder than words, and actions from men in the workplace is still too little. Now, what would you think would be the issue with her asking women about male allyship? These men could probably tell you tangible ways that they're acting as allies towards women. Women don't have any tangible ways that you could satisfy them by being an ally. They just want to feel like you're giving towards the cause all the time. Just like in relationships, modern women now They just have to feel like you're doing enough as a man. They don't want tangible criteria as how you can be a good husband, you can be a good boyfriend, you can be a good father. They just have to feel that you're doing it, and therein lies the rub. If you ask these guys how they're being allies, they could probably write a bulleted list as to all the things that they do to help the women in their organization, and those women wouldn't feel like it's enough. To do the study, I asked 101 women. I don't care how she did the study. Then she reached out to male colleagues. When men believed they were good allies, but women didn't feel the same, women reported feeling less energized about working with those men and less a part of the workplace environment. To understand why this is the case, I look for clues in how men decide their own allyship and how women describe those men's allyship. And men should be able to decide their own allyship. I don't see a problem with that. For instance, in one pair, the man described another male colleague being uncharacteristically resistant in a meeting, talking over her and throwing up unnecessary and irrelevant complications to derail her. He continued, although I did not speak up in the meeting, I did visit her to express sympathy and support. He viewed himself as an ally because he reflected on the situation, recognized the unfairness. I have certainly floated far worse ideas and been treated far more charitably and talked to her about it. Later, she saw him as a good colleague, but not necessarily an ally. He provided moral support. It was nice, not super impactful, but nice. In other words, while speaking privately was seen as an act of collegiality, she would have likely viewed him more of an ally had he said something during the meeting to support her. Undoubtedly, he noticed and acknowledged inequities, which is a critical first stage of a person's journey to becoming a strong ally. But without concrete action when it matters most, men's care and interest in allyship are invisible to women. Like I said, guys, leave women alone at work. He never should have said anything. You're gonna walk up to her after some meeting? Nope. Stick to yourself. Diego del Celta, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. He says, why do I have to be their ally? What's in it for me? Oh, that's right. Nothing. 100%. I agree. 100%. A woman has to feel like you're being an ally. What does that even mean? Where some men rated themselves as allies, women often saw them as no more than doing the bare minimum as colleagues. Okay, doing the bare minimum as colleagues while still doing their own regular jobs. And I hate that women just think that men have it easy. How did this happen? You guys know that if you don't live in the United States, I'll tell you that there's a federal agency called the Occupational Safety and Hazard Administration. Let me see. OSHA. Yep, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, right? And they come up with federal requirements as to safety in the workplace. So, they help come up with the federal guidelines and all the different industries that all businesses have to abide by in each state to keep the workplace safe. You guys know that OSHA only became a thing in the United States in 1972. So before 1972, there weren't centralized occupational safety rules. And women have somehow romanticized work. Like, I'm gonna go out and go work. When they didn't realize that, like, men were working 10, 11, 12-hour days in manufacturing, out in the field, all these different jobs. And women were like, "You know what? I wanna do that." Actually, you know what? They didn't say that they wanna do that because women mostly wanna be in an air-conditioned office where, they can type on a keyboard all day. But I don't know how women just romanticize working so much. It's crazy. Says, um, okay, other men describe themselves as being gender blind because I don't feel that I acted in a different way than I would have has she been male, ignoring the heavier burden of sexism that falls on women. Boom, there it is. She just said it. This assumption right here. For instance, while a man may get talked over on occasion, a woman might get talked over and her ideas dismissed several times a day. So a gender blind approach loses sight of how the same level of support can make a bigger impact on a female versus male colleague. Even when women rated the men as better allies than the men rated themselves, women surprisingly still reported lower energy and inclusion in those situations, and mostly came from junior women grateful for any help from someone senior in a bad workplace. Dre G says, in all seriousness, we have this at work now, healthcare, and it started to get crazy. We have inclusive posters and what not in the break room and cafeteria. We have events as well. Ugh. Well, hopefully, them striking down affirmative action will start nipping all this diversity inclusion stuff in the bud. Because once again, guys, us as men, especially if you're straight, we are not included in diversity, equity, and inclusion. Sometimes women describe hostile incidents where men intervened. One woman said that another colleague said something, um, you know, charge happened to me. John quickly diffused the situation with humor. It was surprising and reassuring. The most impactful part was that I was the lone woman in the conversation, and John was the only man who seemed to bat an eye. While this woman rated John's allyship slightly higher than he did, she still reported low inclusion and energy. Perhaps such quick fixes can diffuse tense situations, but don't build a robust sense of support and trust in the colleague. So pretty much what she wanted to have happen was John to fly off the handle and say, "Come on, guys, you shouldn't say that." Sorry, coughing a little bit. Women want to see you get brawlic when you're defending them at work. You should start yelling and screaming at the guy that said something uh, inappropriate and scold him and tell him to go sit in the corner. How dare you say that? No, nope, nope. When women and men rated men's allyship similarly, which happened in a quarter of the study pairs, women reported higher levels of energy and inclusion than others. In these cases, male colleagues often use multiple allyship strategies, standing up for the female colleague in hostile situations, but also checking in on their well-being later. Guys, you have to do all this. Reggie Gamer, good to see you, my friend. He says, "I will be an ally. All right. I ally them right into plumbing, electrician, carpentry, bricklaying, etc." Yep. They can sign up at the local technical college. So yeah, so you're supposed to go off on the guy that made the inappropriate comment towards the female worker. Make sure she sees you scold him, and then follow up later. Get out of here. These men devoted time and energy to assist their female colleagues in strategizing how to advance and make the workplace better. This is too much, guys. Way too much. She says workplace dynamics often do not favor women. Oh, really? And creating a culture of inclusion requires men to be allies who not only stand up for their female colleagues in visibly difficult moments, but who work day to day toward equality. To be a better ally, consider asking colleagues what problems they could use help with, and consider what you can do to be useful in that context. It's possible that what you are currently doing is ineffective or could be made more effective. When colleagues who are of equal or greater power tell you that you could be a better ally, take the feedback seriously. It's too much, guys. And none of this will be reciprocated. We all know that men are suffering in a lot of areas at work. In society. And it's just I don't think in my lifetime we're ever going to shake this whole thing where this women just have it so bad everywhere, all the time. I just once again, like this is just another form of like expected chivalry. Guys, you're supposed to put a woman on a pedestal at work. You're supposed to give her your leadership opportunity. You're supposed to give her your access to your network. You're supposed to mentor a person from a demographic that says that you're trash or that you're toxic. No. Women have told us for 40 years they don't need our help as men. They don't need us. So, guys, focus on you. You need to get ahead by any means possible. Allyship. Ugh, good lord. Another buzzword term that these women come up with. Uh, I'm actually keeping an active tally on these words, and the list is actually getting pretty long. Oh man, I got one more article here. It's called. Wait, ooh, ooh, ooh. This one's called "Five Ways to Be a Better Male Ally." Five simple ways to be a better male ally. Okay. When it comes to being a male ally for gender equality, believing in the cause is only part of the equation. Men must both value equality and actively work to achieve it. But for many men, making that leap from belief to action can be a tough and a tough undertaking. Thankfully, however, being an effective ally doesn't require drastic overnight changes. Here are a few simple ways men can make a difference. You guys ready? Let's see how simple this is. Share opportunities. When men think about how they can be more effective allies for equality, they tend to focus on how they can do more, but they can also have a major impact by doing less. Ugh. Consider panel discussions at conferences, which across industries consist disproportionately of male participants. Recognizing the importance of more women having access to high profile speaking opportunities, organizations such as the UN Global Compact have pledged against taking part in all male panels. Individual men have also taken similar pledges. This pass up and pass on strategy is a small but effective way that men can move the needle on diversity. It's also powerful because it can be put into practice every day. For example, when your boss approaches you with a big visible project, recommend a female colleague who can take it on. You guys, this is just so much of feminism, so much of modern women is just redistribution of everything that of every how am I, like it like how am I going to put this here? There's redistribution of wealth, socialism, and just women want that in all aspects of life, pretty much. And now they want it in the workplace. Hey guys, you know what? Don't take that ability to get promoted because you're a man. Let a woman do it. No, nope, nope, nope. You women asked for independence, you got it. Now you have to do it all by yourself. Sorry, guys. I knew this was coming. Share opportunities. Let things pass you by so a woman can do it. Gosh, man. Publicly celebrate accomplishments. While there's been real progress to even the number of men and women in corporate leadership, in 2018, women occupied just under a quarter of senior roles across the world, according to Catalyst, a nonprofit focused on building more inclusive workplaces for women. Yikes. Oh, Racy Gamer says, maybe I should be a better ally by supporting the people who became people winning beauty pageants, winning female sports, etc. That's true, man. Because apparently, men are better than women at beauty pageants now too. um, More companies today realize that to reverse that trend, there needs to be a concerted effort to elevate women, celebrate their successes, and actively promote them. Employees are encouraged to spend 30 minutes each week meeting with a talented woman, 5 minutes congratulating a female colleague on a win, and 1 minute praising that woman to other colleagues. Yikes. Ugh. And this is at JP Morgan Chase. 3051. But while formal initiatives can make a real difference for women, there are many informal ways to accomplish similar ends. Men, regardless of whether they're in legal positions and no, leadership positions, can make a point to acknowledge the accomplishments of women at important meetings or in group chats, for example. Those kind of small gestures could greatly increase the odds that women's work will get noticed by the right people. Why do they think that men we do all this? Men, we don't. I don't even expect praise at work. I just want you to say this was done right. Acknowledge I turned it in and leave me alone. Why do women want so much praise at work? Why, guys? Why? Do you praise your other male coworkers uh, at work? I don't. I don't know one male coworker that says, you know what? I haven't gotten enough praise today. I want you guys to praise my accomplishments. Come on. This is a good one, guys. Share the non-promotable workload. Before we get into this one, guys, I did um a live stream about women and that the unpaid hours that women do at work, and it's time that these unpaid hours get recognized. And all of the articles said that women focus on uh um emotional support of other employees, diversity, equity, inclusion activities, all the stuff that doesn't contribute to the your company's bottom line. And now, and women just feel this obligation to do that. A lot of these women, no one's asking you to do this type of stuff. You're just gonna do it. Why? I'm gonna drop the link so if Cowboy in the house, if you want to come up and chat, because thank you for dropping that piece of the live stream that we did the other day, because I got like 5 or 6 subs off of that. I thought it was a really good conversation. So if anyone wants to come up and talk about um women and would you be their ally at work? Do you have any allyship initiatives at your excuse me, at your job? You know, do you think like me that men should avoid women at work at all costs except for work related duties, and that's it? Um, because I'm telling you, man, like this is just another form of like women want all all the privileges and benefits of being a man while still having all the privileges of being a woman too. It doesn't work that way. We're equal. You ladies have to, start from the bottom and dig it up out of the mud, just like men. Um, when it comes to helping advance women, seemingly small day-to-day things, when added up, often make a big difference. Consider the non-promotable tasks for women. Non-promotable tasks, which include, guys, look at this: schedule meetings and taking meeting notes, represent some of the most common yet least visible ways that gender bias manifests itself every day in the workplace. A 2018 study found that women are 48% more likely to volunteer for tasks. You see this word volunteer? Don't volunteer for the task then. That benefit the organization, but likely don't contribute to someone's performance evaluation and career advancement. That sounds like a you problem. In fact, authors Linda Babcock and Maria, oh yeah, I went over their article in my live stream. Weingart, Vesterlin, Ruckald, and Babcock argue that differences in how much time men and women spend on non-promotable tasks help explain why women are promoted less quickly than men are. Don't volunteer for stuff. This is one area where men can help, but volunteering to do an equal share of non-promotable tasks, men can help women gain an equal access to the opportunities that will get them ahead. Okay. Uh-uh. W- Drive safe, MGTOW Cowboy. I know you're out on the road in your truck, so Diego Del Sol says, I'm not scheduling meetings or taking notes if it's someone else's job to do that. I don't ask them to do the programming. Why should I take meeting notes? 100%. Yep. Jalen so said it. That sounds like a YP, not an MP. a, a Boogie Nights fan. I love that movie, man. I don't understand this industry jargon, okay? YP, MP, sponsor a woman. If the right mentor can take a woman far, the right sponsor can take her even further. The difference, mentors offer advice and time. Sponsors, in contrast, are more invested and offer opportunities, visibility, and connection. A 2016 Center for Talent Innovation survey of 9,000 US and UK found that 44% of women with sponsors felt comfortable asking to work on high profile projects. That number fell to 36% for women without sponsors. If men want to help elevate more women to leadership, which we don't, then men must take a more active role in introducing women to the experiences and opportunities that help them succeed. You know what? I'm not going to say that we don't want to see more women leaders, but the problem is it's hard. I I did as part of my live stream, I did a story that showed that women executives, for every one male executive that steps away from his job, two women executives do it. So, or you have stats like 52% of women in STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math, will leave their field entirely or go down to part time when a child is born. So you want to elevate all these women up to leadership when they can step away at any time. Like men, we will stick out in a stressful job for 30, 40, 50 years. Women will stick into a stressful job until she feels like quitting. Women reserve the right to change their minds at any given time, and they expect everyone to go along with it. And that's one of the reasons why the job market is so messed up right now. You honestly don't know if you promote a woman to executive level if she's going to stay past 35, past 40. There are literally articles saying, wow, you know, being a medical doctor, or being a business leader, is a worthwhile effort. It's not worth a woman's mental health. Whereas men, we don't think like that, guys. We just don't. So it's not that I don't want there to be more female leaders. I want there to be more female leaders who are going to stick it out in the long haul, who are going to be 55 and 60 years old and still be the CEO, still be a surgeon, still be a partner lawyer. But women just duck out, man. They don't. The 35, 40 years old. I don't want to keep doing this. I'm out. See ya. And then a sponsor, like I've never even I've heard of mentors, but a sponsor has to do even more. So like if I sponsor a woman and she wants to do a high stress project, like I'm supposed to help her with the project so she can get recognized. No, ain't happening. Be visible. When Catalyst asks men what prevents more of them from becoming champions for gender equality, two explanations stood out: fear and apathy. Some interviewers said that many men don't see how gender equality affects them, while others said men are afraid that helping women would reduce their own opportunities. And it actually will, because you only have 24 hours in a day, 7 days in the week, 30 to 31 days in a month, and 12, in 12 months out of the year. I have to do my own job. That's what people like. They're just assuming that men just have easier, everything is so much easier at work. Like men don't work 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. That they can sponsor a woman and help her with her projects too. So she can get a promotion over the guy. Ain't happening, man. No way. Nope. Uh-uh. Both of these barriers underscore why the gender equality movement needs more men actively, visibly advocating for it. The first step is to helping men fight apathy, is helping them understand that what helps women helps everyone. Likewise, introducing men to prominent male allies can go a long way towards giving men the courage to join in. When it comes to encouraging more men to help further the cause, visibility matters. But what does visibility mean day to day? It means not shying away from the difficult conversations about gender issues with other men, advocating publicly for gender equality on social media platforms, and speaking out even when things get uncomfortable. And what do we get for that? Because nothing's free in this world. Men were cost benefit calculators. You have to show us the benefits of our labor. If we're going to do all this, what are we getting for it? If we're going to, you know, be these soldiers to defend feminism and defend women's equality, and 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 fight other men when things, what are we getting for it? It's like saying level friend zone, pretty much. It's like I it's like, yeah, this is the a male ally at work is the equivalent of the friend zone and the sexual marketplace. Tell me I'm lying. And I fumbled through that because I just thought of that just now. The friend zone, you're giving women all this attention, and you're never going to get anything back for it. You're giving her time, resources, energy, attention, and you're never going to get. And being a male ally is the same thing. This is how to simp at work. Guys, don't do it. Stay away from women at work. Don't mentor them, don't sponsor them. Don't do any of that. Okay? Do your job, go home. And I feel bad for you guys who have all this diversity, equity, inclusion stuff. It is out of control now. I'm fortunate. I have a day job. I work from home, so I never have to worry about this type of stuff and how I'm perceived in the office anymore. Heck no, nope. A male ally, get out of here, man. So, and I see a lot of articles like this. So you're probably going to see me covering this as a concept on my channel. Rigi Gamers says, actually, it was common that Japanese companies didn't hire women because they would be gone in a few years to be stay-at-home moms. And that's true. I know that some Japanese medical schools limited um, female medical school acceptance because women who are doctors will leave the workforce when they have kids. So why are you going to do, you know, what, 11 years of school, a medical school, and then you start practicing when you're 31, 32, and then you leave the workforce when you're 35? Why? I know a lot of female lawyers. I live in the DC area. A lot of female lawyers do that. They go to college, go to law school, and so they graduate high school when they're 18, get an undergrad, so that's 22 to 23, go to law school, so they're 26 or 27 when they graduate, and then they practice law till they're like 33 or 34, and then just duck out. Because there's this term called the golden handcuffs, guys. Anyone know what the golden handcuffs is? The golden handcuffs are you work a shit job. Oops, I cuss. Sorry. You work an awful job, but the pay is so good that you don't quit. So you work this awful job, 100 hours a week, and you make a bunch of money, so you buy a bunch of expensive stuff to justify you working that job. That's what the golden handcuffs is. And there is nothing more golden handcuffs than law, because law is billable hours, guys. And a lot of women, they get real tired of that real quick. They're like, get me out of here. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. Bump that. No way. So, but yeah, I'm gonna continue this. I might make this a series on my channel of male allies. Um, Let me look into it a little more, and then uh, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. You know what? I'm gonna cover one more article about men and women in the workplace on the stream because I found a, a little earlier today, and let me see if you guys think this is interesting. This article is called This article is called "Flexible Work is Feminist, and Women Won't Return to a System That Hasn't Served Them Well to Spare the Feelings of Powerful Men." Ah, so they're trying to say that working from home is a feminist idea, concept, and that making a woman return to the office is is anti-empowering to women because men are more likely to go back to the office, like because we don't care if we're working from home or not, as long as we get a big fat paycheck. So it says for the first 15 years of my career, okay, who is written by? Oh yeah, Aaron Grau, because of course. For the first 15 years of my career, I commuted into an office every day. This meant that by the time I had children, my workplace contributions were invisible to them. All they noticed was my absence, not my leadership skills at work. I missed a lot too. Some days I left the house before they woke up to make it to my first meeting or walked in the door too late to hear the highs and lows of their days. Now that I take fundraising, hiring, and sales calls from home a few days each week, my daughters do homework or play in the next room. They have exposure, excuse me, to the realities of my work. I hope the lessons they are learning about work and in its place in a full life will have a positive impact on them in the years to come. As the return to office movement gains steam over the past few months, bosses don't understand why people aren't returning to the office. They're voicing concerns over productivity, creativity, culture advancement, and mentoring, and even asserting that the remote and hybrid work experiment of the past few years has reinforced the critical importance of sitting in an office. Um, so all these people, Mark Benoff, Mark Zuckerberg, um, called remote work one of the tech industry's work mistakes. So all these people are saying that people need to come back to work. It's probably not a surprise that employees don't feel similarly. New research shows that employees still aren't permitted to work remotely as much as they'd like, and it's hardly a coincidence that the demographic which benefited most from the old system has also expressed the most anxiety about changing it. But we shouldn't confuse the feelings of powerful men with facts. So apparently, going into work benefited us guys. Doing that hour and a half long commute, having to get on the subway and all that stuff benefited us, and not women. Despite all the efforts of the feminist movement that have spanned generations, the reality is that it still largely falls on women to challenge gender inequities in society. Women are still trying to do it all, despite CEOs preserving work arrangements that are outdated and counterproductive when it comes to modern families and changing gender roles. By reimagining when, where, and even how we work, we can make meaningful progress towards gender equality and address the dramatic underrepresentation of women and people of all underrepresented genders in our companies, particularly at the most senior levels. Uh-uh. The case for flexible work has a social and moral imperative. Oh, really? It helps retain women, reduce burnout, and makes it easier to have children and deliver on caregiving responsibilities. According to a recent survey of female hybrid workers that combine in office and remote work, 88% believe that flexibility of hybrid work is an equalizer in the workplace, and two-thirds say it has had a positive impact on their career growth path. Diego the Soul says, working full time is your choice, lady. You had a lot of choices and you chose that. Men only have two choices, work or prison. 100% true. 90% of women want the ability to work remotely, including fully remote or hybrid work options, and with it have experienced an increased sense of belonging, greater psychological safety, and thanks to less unstructured time with colleagues, fewer microaggressions. Let's talk about this word microaggression. I've never heard a guy ever say that. I've never heard an Asian guy, Indian guy, black guy minority. What I've never heard that's like a female only word. And here's the thing. Um Women call a lot of the basics of being friendly at work microaggressions now. Or we live in this clown world where like introverts think it's their life is hard. I'm an extrovert, guys. I can tell you it's a lot tougher being an extrovert and giving energy to bring people together and connect people than it is sitting there with a mean look on your face. And because we're so connected to social media and we don't a lot of people don't have in-person social skills, particularly women. Let me just talk to you guys. So I on this subject, I spent 2 years in central Pennsylvania. And central Pennsylvania is like 98% white, right? And so, but it's one of the friendliest places you could ever live. And there just weren't a lot of black people in central Pennsylvania. So they were really friendly people, but they just weren't, me being a black man, they weren't used to being around black people. So they would sometimes, the people I would work with or, I would be hanging out with, they would say something to try to connect with me culturally, but it would be ignorant. So they say, hey, like, I listen to Tupac. What's your favorite Tupac song? Now I'm from Seattle. You know, I'm all about that grunge. So I don't really listen to Tupac, but I would appreciate the gesture that they're trying to reach out and get to know me. You know what I'm saying? And people that don't have this, that have never had to regularly try to reach out and connect with people, they're the ones who call that type of stuff microaggressions. If you're a black woman and a white woman walks up to you and wants to say hi and get to know you, and she says, "Oh yeah, you have really nice curly hair." Like, don't assume that that's a microaggression because it's a white woman asking about your hair. She's trying to get to know you. Women like when people compliment their hair, but most black women will be like, "How dare you talk about my hair, white woman?" Blah 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 blah. I hate that term microaggression. I can't stand it. It's such a cop out. This is even more pronounced for women of color, LGBT, whatever, and women with disabilities. Support for flexibility and the ability to work remotely is inextricably tied to gender equality and benefits us all, women, men, and marginalized genders. We're going to do like one more paragraph. The primary breadwinner rule is disappearing with 29% of opposite sex couples earning the same amount of money and women out earning their husbands in 16% of marriages. Yeah, but the breadwinner rule, the primary breadwinner rule is disappearing. That's funny. Mm-mm. Yet women still spend 2 more hours on caregiving and 2.5 more hours on housework. Whether a stay-at-home mother or one that works outside the home, mothers still take on the lion's share of caregiving and domestic responsibilities, even though that work continues to be woefully undervalued, underappreciated, and undercompensated. Guys, I said it on my channel many times before. I'll say it again. Guys, if you're a man making $100,000 a year and your girl makes $30,000 a year, you shouldn't have to lift the finger when you get home. I don't care if you have kids or not. She gets to benefit from you making all that money. And the fact that a woman would tell a man who's making good money, you need to do dishes or change diapers is crazy to me. And another thing about that aspect, one of the biggest problems with this whole, you need to help me around the house thing is that a man can help a woman with the problems that she has at home. Say, help me at home. But a woman can't go to the man's work and help him with those issues. So that's automatically putting you at a disadvantage she's asking something from you, something that you can't ask back from her. Guys, if you significantly out earn your significant other, you shouldn't have to cook, you shouldn't have to clean, you shouldn't have to do anything. She has to make up that value. And I can say that because I have a lot of professional female friends who make a lot of money, smashed into the wall. They're 35, 40 years old, and they're considering dating men who make less than them. And I tell them the exact same thing I tell you guys. If you meet a man who makes significantly less than you guys need to figure out how he can make up that value in your life somehow. Anyways, all the rest of this article is about flexible workplaces and ideal workers and how, so we're not going to get into the rest of this, but Reggie Gamer says whoever came up with women thinking worthless jobs as careers is on par with De Beers convincing men to buy their yep, overstock of diamonds to propose with 100%. Reggie Gamer, I'll do you one better. Do you know what an MRS degree is? A lot of these subjects that women get their degrees in now were literally made up for people, for women to go to college to find a husband. Now you have entire industries having to be built around these useless degrees that women are getting. It's sad. So anyway, I want to thank everyone for joining the stream. Reggie Gamer, Diego Del Sol, MGTOW Cowboy, drive safe, buddy. Um, um, Jetty G, Ash L, thank you for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. I am actually moving next week. No, the next weekend. So I'll be making videos probably up until Friday. Thank you guys for continuing excuse me to rock with my channel. I appreciate it. And make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And I will catch you on the next live stream. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I appreciate it.